Both will be.
Yeah, all of you can answer.
Range Rover.
Yes, Range
Range
Rover.
Rover, sir.
Range Rover.
Range Rover, sir.
Okay, Range Rover. Let me see whether Range Rover gets more support or Mirage gets more support.
I think Mirage only, sir.
Mirage only. Okay. So some of you are telling Mirage and some of you are telling Range Rover. Is there any other answer? Any other third
I
option?
had both.
And who is saying
Both.
Baji says both. Right.
Myself, both.
Very good. And now let us consider the first car, Mirage. And tell me, suppose if you want to buy a car, would you buy a car in the range of Mirage or a car in the range of Range Rover? One of you. Which one would you like to buy?
Actually, Mirage. Maybe
Mirage.
my budget constraint.
Okay, so Baji says he will buy Mirage only. Why Baji? Why do you want to buy Mirage when there is a quality car available on the other side? Why do you,
Actually, my requirement is just a car with basic features. Maybe this
I will tell you.
Range Rover will be
It's affordable.
Affordable also. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I tell you, your first requirement is car should be affordable.
Yes, right.
Though everything is there, if I say the car is 75 lakhs, I'm not for it. It is not a fit for me, isn't it? Straight away it goes beyond your expectation. Your expectation is first of all to get a car within a budget of, let's say, 10 lakhs. Right? And that's why Mirage came to your option. Now that is one thing which is fitting your requirement. Understood. Now what next? Is that is one fact, that is the only factor you look at while buying a car, or do you have some other factors?
Affordability would be one point, and service backup is another one.
Yes.
After
Service
sales
backup.
support
Very good. Yes.
Maintenance.
and maintenance.
Cost of maintenance.
Yeah.
Cost of maintenance.
Would you think about the mileage?
Safety,
Mileage.
performance like mileage,
Safety. Do you mean only the headlights, or you want to
safety belt, airbags,
airbags? Right. So lot of requirements.
protectors, yeah.
When I ask you, you will give me the requirement, throughout the day. So much requirement, because you are going to pay around 10 lakhs and there are so many requirements. When there are so many requirements, some of the requirements are very critical. That's why it appears on the top of the list. For example, the budget. It should be within 10 lakhs. That is the number one. If number one is not there, I'm not going to check whether number two is there or not. If number one is not there, straight away, your product is rejected. I will go with the other thing. So quality is basically meeting your customer's requirement. Can I say like that? Quality is basically meeting your customer's requirement. If customer, all the requirements or at least the major requirements are met, customer will buy your product. If the customer buys your product, what does it mean? Product has got quality, isn't it? So a set of people or a category of people or a segment of people are willing to buy Mirage. Similarly, a segment of people are willing to buy Range Rover. Right? That means both cars are considered quality cars. People are buying. The customers are buying, isn't it? So only very few of you told me, sir, both are quality cars. I think it is Bajish, and whoever others who joined Bajish, definitely you have a proper understanding on the quality. So the question is, which car is a quality car? And I think it is not just Range Rover, not just Mirage. Both cars can be quality car. So who drives quality? The customer requirement drives quality. When I ask you which car is luxurious car here,
Range Rover.
most of the time we confuse between quality and luxury. So we should
actually, sir, more depends on what my requirement is as a customer.
Yes.
Because what kind of drive, is it through the city and or am I always onto the other ride? It also depends on that.
Correct. That is why we say it is subjected. Quality is mainly driven by customer requirement. When you say, sir, for me, the car should reach 100 kilometers in 3 seconds, then Mirage is not under my scope. It is not meeting my requirement. Within 3 seconds, I can get 100 kilometers in Range Rover, but not using the Mirage. So it basically, your requirement drives quality. One of the main factors that drives quality in any product is customer requirement. So now conclusion on the slide is both cars can be quality car. Now, what makes the difference here? The customer segment. The people who have a budget of 10 lakhs to buy a car, for them, Mirage is quality. People who have a budget of 50 lakhs to 1 crore, for them, the budget is Range Rover. Their set of requirements will be completely different. They will ask you, what is the cabin noise inside? Do you have an answer? When I drive the car, what is the cabin noise in terms of decibel? They will ask you, isn't it? So, so their requirements is different. Here, no, the question is about mileage. Do I get 20 kilometer mileage? That's the question. Here, mileage is not a question. Here, mileage might appear in the third or fourth in the list. Here, mileage may be after 10 or 20 requirements, right? So likewise, the requirement changes, priority changes, and that actually drives quality. So the simple definition or a working definition for quality is meeting customers' requirements consistently. I buy a product, and then the product should fulfill my requirement, not only today's requirement but also future's requirement. If in the future your product is not going to fulfill my requirement, you know what will happen? In the future, I will go and buy your competitor's product, not your product. So the basic definition of quality is meeting customers' requirements consistently. For example, these kind of trainings programs were happening only in a classroom, but now everything is online. So the market is always challenging. Requirements are always keeps changing. You must keep updating. And that's why we use the word called consistently. Consistently, you must try to produce products meeting your customer requirements. Consistently, you must offer services meeting your customer's requirement. And when I say customers, there are three types: internal customer, external customer, and end user. What is the difference? End user is someone who buy your product, uses it, and then pays for it, right? And end user is generally outside of your organization. Am I right? End user is generally outside of your organization. He is not just one person; he is a set of people. You call it the customer segment. And if anybody who is receiving your output, or anybody who is receiving your products, anybody who is availing your services, external of your organization, they are called external customers. And when I say product, you should not always think about the end product. For example, all of you are undergoing the black belt training program. And now black belt training program. So what is your expectation? A certification. A certification, right? So if the certificate is given to you with your name and photo, you are happy. Does it mean you don't require the training? Definitely no.
No.
If we don't conduct the training and directly jump to the solution, like giving you the certificate, that is not the meaning of quality. Always when you want to fulfill your end user requirement, you must understand the presence of internal and external customer. In our own process, there is an internal customer. There is a certifying body who want to issue you the certificate. That certifying body has got a requirement. What is that requirement? A 6 days of training program. These are the tools and techniques the participants are supposed to know. And so they conduct the test to understand whether all of you have acquired it or not. And then you qualify, and then it is given to you. And now that body is that particular body which is checking your the level of knowledge. If for you, that body is also part of the service provider, right? So that's a kind of internal customer. We need to understand the requirements of the internal customer also. If we don't understand what are the requirements of the MSME TDC Chennai to certify somebody as a black belt, and then we conduct something else, that will not assure quality. So always you need to understand presence of internal customer. If you understand the concept of internal customer, you will see everybody around you as a customer. Right now, I am delivering a lecture, you are the customer, right? And suppose you ask a question. Now, I become your customer. You are asking the question to me. Now, I am receiving your question. Same way, when you produce a product, let's say a big car, the car has got 5,000 parts. And 5,000 parts produced in 5,000 locations. There are so many customers. What all of them are called? All of them are called either internal or external. What is the difference between internal and external? If that person is part of your organization, he is internal. If that person is outside of your organization, he is external. Any failure, if the person who is seeing the failure, if he takes it very seriously, he should be considered an external customer. If a failure happens, but the person who is receiving the failure, he is very kind enough to bring it to your notice and then get it sorted out, such a person is called what? Internal customer. Now, do you understand? So many customers are there around you. So you have to understand. So all this clarity you will gain by understanding, by learning so many tools in the define phase. So quality is meeting customer requirement. When I say requirement, it is list of requirement. When I say customer, it is list of customer, right? And you need to fulfill everybody. Without fulfilling the requirements of the internal and external customer, trying to fulfill the requirements of the end user will not have any sense and meaning in any business. You want a certificate? I have a beautiful printout and print it and give it to you. That's not the meaning of quality. That's not the meaning. Yes, please.
Supplier of those parts will be called as external customer.
Yes, supplier. Suppose the child components you procure from another vendor, right? So that vendor is outside of your organization. But what is required? That vendor who is supplying the child component, he should also meet your requirements, isn't it? So he will also have certain requirements. You have to provide him very clearly. For example, the drawings and what are all the requirements you have to convey. So in that way, your vendor can be considered as an internal customer. If you don't give the specifications, drawings, and the delivery preferences, do you think the vendor will be able to maintain the quality levels with you? No, isn't it? So if the vendor, if he is receiving something from you, your vendor is actually external customer to you. The same vendor acts as a supplier to you when you receive the produced components from him. So we will be learning a tool called SIPOC, supplier input, process, output, and customer, which will help you understand the very clearly all these forms of customer.
Sir, 1 second, sir.
Yes.
This quality department in example in an industry can be an internal customer.
Yes, you produce product. See, for example, you are let's say you are doing some fabrication work, maybe some milling or turning you are doing, and immediately after turning, it goes to a quality checker.
Yes.
Now, what is important to you, the end user or the quality checker's requirement? Come on.
Quality checker parameters.
I am going to check all that you are producing. I am the quality inspector in your company. You are working on a milling machine. You have done the milling and you are producing. What I am doing, I am checking each and everything you are producing. Now, it's not important for you to understand what my requirement. If you don't understand my requirement, do something differently. What I will do, I will reject everything you produce. Always, it is very important to understand the immediate customer in your process. Quality checker is nothing but your colleague, isn't it? But he is also a part of your customer. He is an internal customer. So, and if the same quality checker, if he makes every problem a serious one and take it to the top management, then you must consider him as an external customer, isn't it? So sometimes such people will be there. You have to be very careful whether you are dealing with an internal customer or dealing with an external customer. If the failure happens with internal customer, it is internal failure. Damage is less. If the failure happens with an external customer, that's an external failure. Because the damage is more, your name is damaged, isn't it? So you have to be very careful, and that's why this differentiation.
So these regulating bodies are the external customer.
Yes, definitely.
Regulating bodies.
External customer, very correct. Environmental compliance, the carbon emissions, there are many conditions. These are all external customer. Without fulfilling them, if you launch a product thinking that your end user will buy, one day everything will collapse, isn't it? There will be complete shutdown. All that will happen. So you have to be very, very careful understanding all the customer's requirement. Helpful?
Sir, one small thing there.
Yes.
I mean, in certain other products and services, there could be, I mean, when you categorize like customers, should we not also understand the buyer and end user? So shall we again take it as only external and end user?
Yeah.
Like say suppose there's a parent who's actually the customer who's buying, but the end user must be
Student.
student. So in such categories, like, in such cases, external is the parent, and is that how we consider it?
Correct. So in an educational process, it is
Huh.
better to replace the word customer with the word called stakeholder.
Okay.
When you produce a doctor
Hmm.
and send him into the society, he is going to do good things as well as bad things in the society.
Hmm.
Right? So who are all will be benefited by the doctor? Everybody. Who are all will be affected by the doctor? Everybody. So always in an educational process, better avoid using the word customer, rather use the word stakeholder. Then only you will be able to understand the improvement areas. If you only ask a student what do you want, he will say, I want a swimming pool. Will you give him a swimming pool in the campus? He may have any requirement, but what collectively the stakeholders requirement, the employer, the parent, the society, isn't it? And the student himself, everyone's requirement should be fulfilled if considering an educational process. Got it? But definition wise, end user is someone who actually receives your product, and then who pays for it. But in educational process, generally customer, parents pay.
Hmm.
But students should know that it is their money the parents are paying, isn't it?
Hmm.
Future, it is going to come to them only, whether your parent pays or you pay, and how it matters. It's
Sir,
almost
here I would like
yes.
Here I would like to add a point too. I mean, since the subject of education had come up, I think even influencer, influencer would, as a part would also be joining, right? Because you see, when a kid, maybe let us assume the IT platform, like for the video conferences today, so it may be a Zoom or something else, but the faculty, what they influence on the parents and students will also become a critical portion, right, in getting this process completed.
Yes, teachers are also part of the stakeholders.
Yeah.
So here the stakeholders become a very large community. I mean, probably the society.
So the most complex process is educational process, what you are currently handling.
Hmm.
The most complex process, in the entire world is educational process. So that is why, it is taking a much longer time to see a small improvement. Right? But this understanding is important. If you convert all the professors into black belts, probably, improvements can happen faster.
I don't know how good an idea that would be, but then what is happening is, with technological interventions, I mean, which was not earlier seen, especially in the education sector. There are a lot of tools which have come up. Now the end users are someone, and the piloting, I believe, there is a flaw, which is why I'm coming to this particular thing, like, because the end user, how important it is to test, is what I'm trying to think loud, sir.
That's why I told you, maybe you can use the word the immediate customer.
Hmm.
You try to, and one more thing, customer themselves do not know what they want.
Hmm.
Right? So all of you have joined the black belt program. I do not know with what kind of objectives you have joined the program. I do not know. It could differ from each one of you. Am I right?
Yes.
So many a times customers themselves do not know what do they want. We also buy product. You buy a shirt, wear it, and after 2 days we say no, it's a mismatch. I couldn't have purchased this. That means it's a clear evidence. I myself do not know what do I want, isn't it? So
but that is just a probability. That is not.
No, not just a probability. What I'm trying to say is, there is also a responsibility to understand the customer requirements clearly. If you ask a student, what do you want from an engineering degree? He might tell something. Can you give the same thing? No. So that's why you have the bodies like Association of Engineers and things like that. They work in detail. What they work in detail, they understand the customer's requirement and come out with 10 or 12 points. This is what an engineer is supposed to know. You call it graduate attributes or something. Am I right? So
Certain benchmarks.
understanding your customer requirement and prioritizing your customer requirement will lead to quality, right? At the same time, when I say customer, the better word is stakeholder always in education, right? And you can't avoid using the word customer, then try to use the immediate customer. Who is the immediate customer? Today I'm delivering a lecture. Who is going to listen? Is it the student or the parent? Right? And if it is student, then make it accordingly. Similarly, it is the fees I'm going to fix for my course. Now, who will be affected now? It's not the student, it's the parent. So keep it affordable. So something like that you have to understand. And then finally, all the stakeholders' requirement you should be able to balance. Like how I told you, in a balanced scorecard, you strengthen all the pillars. Similarly, here you satisfy all the stakeholders in a balanced way. Maybe some weightage you can give, right? Who will be more affected by your product?
Decisions.
Yes, accordingly. All right, that's a good discussion on quality, but particularly